Review.
Kenpachi Zaraki, Sosuke Aizen, Ukiura Schiffer, Ichigo Kurosaki. If these names don't sound familiar to you, then you don't know Bleach. And if you don't know Bleach, then Bleach Soul Resurrection doesn't have a lot to offer. This shallow beat-em-up looks very sharp and has a big cast of characters, but it makes no effort to introduce newcomers to the world of Bleach, leaving them with little idea of who, where, and why they are fighting. If, on the other hand, you do know your Baragon from your Grimmjow, then you may enjoy getting to play out some familiar dramatic clashes. The story mode in Soul Resurrection highlights many important encounters across the lengthy run of the anime, but it does so in a very disjointed way. Pre-level narrations make giant leaps in the story that often gloss over major fights and crucial developments. Relationships and revelations are routinely dealt with in the midst of combat, by disembodied voiceovers that often do not feature the character you're playing as. This disconnectedness reduces the story mode to a poor man's highlight reel, and prevents the game from channeling much of the drama of the anime. Furthermore, clips from the anime itself only appear before the title screen, rather than interspersed throughout the story mode where they could have lent some excitement to the proceedings. What you are left with is the action. Unfortunately, Bleach does not boast a very deep fighting system. You can vanquish most of your foes by tapping the square button repeatedly to execute combos, or you can just zoom past them to get to the next checkpoint. Your spiritual pressure gauge allows you to unleash powerful pressure attacks, or trigger a flashy super move. And finally, once you've powered up your ignition gauge, you can uncork a devastating and very cool looking ignition attack. That's pretty much the extent of your attacks, and you spend most of any given level thrashing your way through feeble enemies in order to reach a boss fight. The combat multiplier is meant to encourage you to improve your technique, but you can easily exploit it by dashing back and forth through a crowd of enemies. This lets you reap an inflated harvest of soul points, which you can then use to level up your character on the sprawling board of upgrades. Character upgrades are persistent across the different game modes, as is the level structure. Once you've beaten or just avoided the crowds of minions, you arrive at a boss fight and are treated to a few dramatic camera angles. These encounters require more strategy than normal combat, and a few can be quite tough. Yet, even then, combat is a relatively simple matter of figuring out when to block or evade, then rushing in and wailing on your enemy. Even the variable conditions of mission mode and the pressure of score attack fail to jolt Bleach out of its predictable combat rut. There are a few consolations that help Bleach Soul Resurrection carry some appeal for the dedicated fan. The option to choose Japanese voice acting is a nice touch, but the game's strongest asset is its visuals. Great character models show off Bleach's creative cast of characters, while vivid colors and smooth animations infuse the action with some welcome energy. Alas, the sharp visuals come at the cost of frequent loading times that deflate any momentum you might gather during the course of a level. Bleach Soul Resurrection tries to give fans of the anime the chance to play as their favorite characters in dramatic showdowns, but the lackluster combat and the disjointed story mode keep it from delivering.